I want to talk about mental health again on this rainy Friday afternoon. On Instagram and social media, Facebook, wherever the hell you hang out, I've been seeing some weird behavior among people who are diagnosed with mental health problems, and I see them minimizing other people's experience of their mental illness, whether it's bipolar disorder, whether it's depression, whether it's anxiety, Tourette syndrome. And I usually see this behavior on the side of somebody who, I don't want to say has it worse, but it's more dysfunctional in their life. So if somebody's chronically depressed and they've been hospitalized due to their mental health, somebody else will post about their mental health problems, and the person that's been hospitalized will be like, oh, well, it's not that bad. Or, they'll compare it to their experience, or they'll act like an authority on that condition. I see this a lot where people will act like they're authorities on a subject because they've been through it. And I don't think that's right. And also, the only person that's an authority on their experience of a mental health problem is the person that's been through their experience. They're an authority not on the condition, but on their experience. Because you don't know what they went through. You weren't there. So really, all I'm trying to say, just to kind of sum it all up, is that don't minimize someone else's experience because, you were hospitalized or you have more severe symptoms. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have it worse than them, because you don't know their personality. You don't know what's going on in their life. Not to mention that it's not so clear cut. Just because you have worse symptoms, you may have better support than they do, and they may not have any support at all. So sometimes things balance out in a really weird way sometimes, or come close to that. So I don't know if any of this makes sense or resonates with anyone, but it's just been an issue related to Tourette syndrome. How it manifests is usually someone with coprolalia or someone with copropraxia. They'll be talking to someone else with less severe symptoms, and they'll be like, well, I have coprolalia, or I have copropraxia, and just because I have that, you don't have that, so clearly you don't have it as bad as I do, which is like really, really weird. We shouldn't get into pissing contests over mental health issues. It's a really weird behavior. I don't know where it's coming from, but I don't know if it's rooted in insecurity, but it needs to stop because it's taking our energy away from places where it really should go, like support, writing blog articles, education, all these places that will actually help people get out of the hole that they're in instead of placing them in a deeper hole. So another thing that I wanted to say is that just because somebody, has the same mental illness as you do, but they don't have the same symptomology as you do, doesn't mean that they're faking it. Doesn't mean that it's not valid. I really think that people wrap their identity up in their diagnosis. And I think if they see other people with the same illness not showing symptoms in the same way that they do, they see it as a threat to their identity, which is really weird. And there's just like a thought that kind of came to me right now. So your identity is not your diagnosis. Your identity is whatever you make of it. So don't let anybody else tell you who you are. Figure out who you are before telling other people who they are. And on that note, don't tell anyone else who they are too. So know who you are. You're more than your diagnosis. And don't let labels be attached to you, because you're not a one-dimensional being. You're 3D.